we can start off with what boxing was going on.
What's happening? Happy Thursday, Friday Eve. Yeah, I sent you the news about Vinny Pazienza getting into the Hall of Fame. Once Arturo Gatti was inducted, we all knew, I mean, boxing fans, that it was no longer the Hall of Fame. It's the Hall of Good or Decent. I'm not trying to disparage Arturo Gatti. Rest in peace. He was very exciting, but was he ever pound for pound? Is he an all-time great champion? Does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? I don't believe so. And I don't agree with Vinny Pazienza either. But since those guys are in, my boy Fernando Vargas better get in soon.
Yep, 154, youngest champ, came in, beat Yori Boy Compass, an old veteran, grizzled vet by then. But
Made him quit.
yeah, made him well, a lot of people made him quit the best. But yeah, a young dude coming up. I think he just had he was too tough for his own good, and his bad management didn't allow him to grow the way he should have gone, because they knew he'll fight anybody. He wasn't one of these dudes that was like, I'll fight you any place, anywhere, and then you still see him fighting like Leon Smith, somebody like that. No, you saw him when he said he wanted to fight you. He went after you. When he said he wanted to fight De La Hoya and it was personal, he went into that promotion like it was personal. When he got him in the ring, he thought, he played it like it was personal. He eventually had lost, but almost every fight he had, it was like he had some other demons inside that he just wanted to prove something to somebody else that he just had to go all out. Even when he had nothing to offer, when he was fighting Shane Mosley for the second time, he still came faith first, ready to try to get it over with. And, he lost that fight. But I think now that Andre and I and a couple of other people, we talk about this as the Gotti rule. Now when we get guys like Vinny Pazienza getting in, and of course Arturo Gatti himself getting in, we call it the Gotti rule because I think the threshold has been lowered. But when you talk about boxing people or talk to boxing people, they start telling you about, it wasn't just necessarily his overall skill. You got to talk about what he's brought to boxing and what he did and the excitement when boxing probably was going through somewhat of a moment. He was that one guy that was like a larger than life character kind of guy, bringing him from the Rocky movies into real life. Then I think about it, I was like, you know what? Sylvester Stallone doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, but he's there.
I forgot about that. Well, I guess, comparing it to other sports, baseball, you definitely have to have the numbers. Baseball and
Baseball
basketball,
around.
you have to have the numbers to get in, to even get consideration.
Yeah.
I guess boxing is different because obviously they're taking other things into consideration. Is star power. So you could have limited skills, but be a big star as Gaddy was because he came to fight every time. He could score a knockout at any moment, or he could get outboxed but he go out on the shield also. So he provided a lot of excitement. But if the criteria is best fighters, then I don't believe he meets it. But if they're going to use a different criteria and it's star power, well then he gets it. Vinny
Yeah,
Pazienza had a movie made about him, so I guess he
exactly.
gets it too.
Yeah, Paz gets it because of that. Kind of his style outside of the ring and the Pazmanian Devil, that moniker, and then going in the ring, doing kind of entertaining things, but the talent didn't match what he was doing in the ring. Arturo Gatti, those are the things you just can't teach. He was getting beaten to a pulp and he would come back and win fights. But he didn't win those fights against those top fighters. When he
Right.
fought those top fighters, he lost. In fact, when he fought a fighter that was almost near the top, Ivan Robinson, he lost to him twice. And we saw what happened to Floyd Mayweather. That was practically a live autopsy. And then you just look at all the other fighters, Oscar De La Hoya. As soon as you hit that threshold of
Oscar
fighting,
was too big. He was being a bully in that fight.
you know what though? What goes around comes around in that regard because him being a bully against Arturo Gatti is the same thing you say when Arturo Gatti fought Joey Gamache and practically ended his career for all intents and purposes. 20 pounds
They
overweight,
were the
knocked
same
him
division.
unconscious.
He just put on a lot of weight after the weigh-in.
Bro,
It's
that
different
weight,
from being a 147 fighter and making the guy come up from 135 or 140.
I mean,
At
I
least
guess
they were
that's
in the same weight class.
look at Pernell Whitaker. He made Chavez come up. That was a catchweight fight, but he made Chavez come up from 140, which was, by the way, as dominant as Chavez was. That wasn't his best weight class. 130, 135 is around when he had his best fighting. I think 130. But Pernell had him come up and, he got the better of him. I'm thinking Pernell Whitaker won fair and square. I'm not taking that away from Pernell Whitaker. I'm just making the point of fighters that had other fighters come up and they just met the challenge. They either won or lost. And in this case, he
Yeah, but
lost,
at
but
least Chavez Whitaker, that's the fight the
the
boxing.
public wanted.
Yeah, everybody wanted to see that. Nobody was clamoring for De La Hoya to fight Gaddy.
That was a money fight because of Gotti's popularity. De La Hoya already had his popularity. One of the few fights where you had two popular guys almost on the same level. Popularity wise, probably on the same level. Talent wise, we saw the discrepancy and the loss that resulted from it. But with Vinny Pazienza, you just go down his resume. I think really coming onto the public landscape boxing wise was that fight against Greg Haugen. And it was one in Rhode Island, his hometown. And it was kind of, some people looked at it as a hometown decision. He lost the rematch, so it kind of makes you think it may have been a hometown decision. But the Roy Jones fight, I mean, Roy. First of all,
him
why the
credit
hell
just
would
for
Roy? You
getting
saw
in
a
with.
bully, and why is Roy fight this dude?
I give him credit just for getting in the ring with Roy.
When Roy was at his best,
I don't know anybody who thought Vinny had a chance in that
not
fight.
a damn chance. I don't think Vinny knew it. He just saw the money and he was going to count it after his funeral. That was it. He was like, "Yo, I got it. The money's there." But and then not to mention that round where Vinny Pazienza didn't touch him one time, punch that. He didn't let him punch the entire round. So that's a fight we could see and say that happened. Willie Pep. There's stories about how they were a fighter that didn't touch him the entire round, and people talk about it more than there's a video about it. But
Well,
in this case, we saw
no,
the
but
fight
they said he won a round without throwing
without
a
throwing a
punch.
punch. Without throwing a punch. Yeah, you know what?
That's crazy.
Yeah, he
Like
did it
you have
without
to
throwing
be
a punch.
so dominant defensively
And
and
won
with
the round.
feints and
Yeah, but then
I can't even fathom that.
and then I mean, just looking at what Vinny Testaverde had done boxing wise, you look at the resume. See, there's one
Vinny
thing to say that
Testaverde.
I mean, there we go with that crap again. Is he going to be out there with Josh
Who do you fight?
Purdy?
Ed Too Tall Jones?
Two toes making a comeback. Don't call it a comeback. Vinny freaking Paz, man. Vinny Testaverde. Man, get the hell out of here. Thank God for editing. Unbelievable.
Leave it in. Leave it
But
in.
Vinny Pazienza, you look at his resume, and you look at a couple of fighters, even including Arturo Gatti. You look at their resumes, and you see the names on it. These guys weren't afraid to fight guys, like you said. Man, I wouldn't even go on in there with Roy Jones. He comes up from 135. I mean, eventually made the trek going up to fight Roy. And then you think about, okay, but they lost all of the fights against these big dudes. Do you give them that much credit because they decide to fight them? You are a fighter, though.
Yeah, and Vinny he had kind of blown up to that weight division. It's not
Yeah,
like he went
and
up
the
3
steroids
weight divisions.
allegations.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear it. I'm not gonna comment on it, but to his credit, he didn't get blitzed and stopped in 30 seconds. He made it a couple of rounds, a few
Roy
rounds.
played with that dude. You watch that fight. Roy pot shot him, playing with him, and got rid of him when he felt like getting rid of him. He thought
I'm
the
just
people got their
saying.
money's
I'm just
worth, and
saying.
he was like, "Let's get him out of there."
I still can't believe Gaddy lost to Manfredi, man. That fight,
That
I'm not
that was
sure.
surprising to me. That is a
Yeah, I'm not
surprising
sure
fight.
there's any one fight that surprised me more than that one.
Yeah. And when Freddie fought Floyd, I thought they made it. It was an early stoppage. I wanted to see more of it, but I
Oh,
guess
okay, it was politics.
yeah, that was well according to Freddie, it was. He
Man,
has a whole lot to
his head
say,
was bouncing off the ropes,
but
man.
that was just the second round, and Floyd was a sharp shooter
He was
back then.
getting he was getting blitzed in that corner, man.
But I thought that I thought that it was worth giving him another shot and get himself together in the third round and come back out and see what he can do. But whatever, it happened. But Vinny Paz now in the Hall of Fame. But then you look at the boxing Hall of Fame. Does Mickey Ward get in now because he's synonymous
Oh
with
no.
Arturo Gatti? I don't think he needs to get in. Outside of Arturo Gatti, you hear Zab Judah talk about him with the body shot he gave Zab, and Zab was like, "Yo, I don't want to go out there." And Zab's father pushed him back out there. You going out there? You know what I mean? So yeah,
That's another guy. I'm not sure.
Zab's getting in, no question.
I'm not sure he should though. I mean,
Zab Judah, he was
I know he
undisputed
I know he
welterweight champ.
was undisputed, but it's not like he was
140.
running through everybody. He beat Corey Spinks.
Corey Spinks, bro, at the time when he was fighting, Corey Spinks was because I thought the same way about Corey Spinks. All right, he had the Spinks name. All right, he's a southpaw. He's all right. but then he turned out to
Yeah,
be
he
better than all
surprised
right.
me too when he beat Mayorga,
Yeah,
but
that's what exactly. That was the one that let me know that this dude can fight, and he's a
yeah,
St.
but
Louis dude.
Mayorga, he can't. I mean, if he doesn't knock you out
He
or
beat Vernon Forrest,
you don't
a
let him
field
pound on you.
boxer.
Forrest took the easy way out. He wasn't disciplined enough to control distance and to control him with the jab.
In the rematch?
And, and no, in the first fight.
Oh, look, I'm saying the
And,
rematch.
and then the second
First fight,
fight, he wanted to get some get back because he got stopped and he didn't
he was
get it.
cautious though in that second fight because he
I'm
felt
just
that
saying,
power from the first fight. But I do remember the first fight. I think Vernon was still a little bit on that easy street high motivation or euphoria after beating Shane Mosley. All of a sudden, the people that didn't know him now had him on everyone's pound for pound list, and he was ascending. They thought he would be the next great thing. And then he goes into Mayorga. Then you talk about these stories with Mayorga. The only thing he had going for him, he beat Andrew Six Heads Lewis, and that was it at the time. But Andrew Six Heads Lewis was at least a hard puncher. And then he comes in and does what he did to Vernon Forrest. I was like, that gotta be a fluke. The rematch, I'd have put all my money again on Vernon. And then he beats him again, even easier.
I wouldn't say easier. He
I mean,
stopped
easier
him
than
the
the
first
first
time.
time. He went 12 rounds.
He stopped him the first time.
Yeah, what I'm saying? He stopped and he said he went first round. But you thought that if Vernon would have gotten past that threshold in the first fight, he would have gotten into his boxing rhythm and used his skills because he was immensely more skilled than what Mayorga was. So I thought in the second fight, he would show more of his skill. It was Mayorga who showed more skill than you thought he had, and he still had that power. And it had you can see Vernon was thinking throughout the entire
I,
fight. He
I
was
think
thinking about
Vernon
taking
was
chances.
rest in peace, Viper. Man, we're talking about these boxers that they died young, man. But I think Viper was a little shook.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Going back into the second fight.
Like he wasn't that wasn't the real Viper.
But if they had a rematch after you felt that power the first time, if they had a rematch, he did what he did. He showed the vapors. He showed that he was a little bit tentative in the second fight. In the third fight, probably wouldn't have been any different. The power wasn't going to change. And speaking about these fighters that are passing away, Israel Vasquez, bro,
Oh yeah.
that hit me, man. I swear. I saw the news. I had to go
Cancer right here.
that
Cancer
right,
right here.
yo. I had to double take with. Wait a minute, Vasquez. And dudes are like, Vasquez, who? Bro, if you didn't know his name, you knew his face. If you're just a fringe boxing dude, he just had that face, man. You know what I'm saying? That you just,
Yeah.
I saw him probably I saw him so many damn times, and especially against Marquez. They had a 4-fight series, they split him, but those was fights there that should get him into the Hall of Fame. Or is he
Yeah,
in there?
Vasquez and Marquez, their fights, I think it's debatable that they have better rivalry than Gaddy and Ward.
They got in.
It just
I
didn't
think so.
get,
They had 4 fights.
yeah, it just didn't get, all the pub that Gaddy and Ward did. But man, every fight those two had was like they were fighting life and death almost
Yeah,
every second of every round.
and they were that close to one another talent wise because you're talking about um a 7th round KO and one whether it was stopped, and then you talk about a TKO, then a split decision, then a KO. That's all 4 fights. None of them really separated themselves, and because it was a 4-fight series and it splits 2-2, there was no separation. I'm not gonna say I wasn't ready for it because I wasn't, shoot, he went to retirement. You hear about these fighters later on, maybe when their opportunity for the Hall of Fame comes up. But man, if nothing, I
I
remember
didn't
his
I
face. I
didn't
swear, but
even know he had cancer, man.
neither
I
did I.
was I was
I was
getting
looking to see what he
ready.
died from.
I was getting ready to go to bed, grab my phone, I checked the time, and I had a notification. Magnifico passed away. I'm like, what?
Yep,
So then I had to look into it. I'm like, oh hell no. That one tripped
man.
me out.
The first thing I thought about though when I saw his name because I just saw it kind of like go across, not on TV. I just saw it in like a news feed. I'm like, what? I had to go back to it, and then it said that he passed. And I was like, how? And other people were asking how because didn't say how. But I figured this
Right.
day and age, that's pretty much how people are going these days: cancer or heart attacks or something like that. And then I looked at it, sarcoma, and I was like, damn, man.